Senator Michael Nicholas introduced Bill 268 last week, and today it went up for its public hearing. The measure implements the Guam Competitive Wage Act of 2014 while requiring a performance-based standard for directors and deputy directors, along with the governor, lieutenant governor, AG, and public auditor.
This will set us on a course to make good on what we obligated ourselves to with respect to pay, and make quality of life not just a catchphrase, but an expectation tied to management compensation.
Of those in support of the measure included members of the University of Guam Social Work Program, West to Makani.
The implementation of this HAVE study would mean a 50% increase in entry-level salaries for social workers. And this would bring the salaries for social workers in line with other jurisdictions in the United States.
The bill drew several GovGuam directors and deputy directors like Civil Service Commission Executive Director Tony Lamarena, who raised concern over language that places authority over granting of raises of certain cabinet level and elected officials with the CSC. Lieutenant Ed Artero, meanwhile, on behalf of Fire Chief Joey Nicholas, questioned the performance-based standard aspect of the bill.
While these appointments are confirmed by this legislature, so if there are failures, this legislature should take responsibility. If there is a failure by the cabinet members, the legislature has oversight powers to bring the light to failure. The government of Guam is a performance-based organization. Our governor sets his direction, and we are held to task to meet it. If we fail, we are subject to dismissal.
And for others like Janet Uggin, she was simply against the pay increase for all elected officials and political appointees.
And again, I shall emphasize no pay increases for elected officials or political appointees. It should be put out to the people as a referendum. The pay increase that the senators gave themselves in 2010 should be repealed.
Department of Administration Director Benita Manglotnia, meanwhile, noted concerns over Bill 268, such as the Executive Performance Pay Plan and the approval of salary recommendations for rate of pay positions, saying to the extent that it was not reasonable. And just like last week, lawmakers once again questioned DOA on the governor's actual plan, from its methodology, and how it differs from the 2010 plan. Senators specifically wanted a breakdown of the $20 million price tag for the implementation of the different categories. Manglotnia didn't provide the specifics, but questioned lawmakers' sudden criticism when in 2010 they appropriated $13 million to implement the pay raises with no questions asked. During that time, she said the government's finances weren't in as good a shape as they are today.
Senator, how did you get to 20?
May I ask you something?
Yes.
Back in 2010, you didn't ask any of these questions. You approved the plan and you let the administration handle it when our finances was in terrible shape.
I will admit that.
Much better.
And I'm just asking, tell me where that number came from.
We have done well in managing this cash.
Just get us the number.
And we will allocate what is appropriated, and if there's any need for, if any agency is short, the governor has the transfer authority.
And after much debate, Manglotnia asked lawmakers to approve the plan. However, Senator Nicholas says lawmakers could not simply go off of faith and just trust the governor's plan.
We're all saying trust the governor. He's going to just follow through. But even right now in the current environment, we're not making it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to stick this performance language in here. I mean, certainly if we're not making it now, we shouldn't be getting raises now either, unless we're fully funding education, health, and public safety.
I'd like to make a comment to your comment about education. I'm sure that you were here back in 2010. The condition of education, you go back to 2010, what was the condition of Department of Education? Was that time when they put the education in third party? They were having a lot of problems.
Do we want to go back to that, Benita?
And fast forward now?
Do we want to go back to those days?
Much better now?
Do we want to go back to those days?
Well, those were the days when the HAVE plan was approved.
Well,
that was my point.
I wasn't a part of that, but I'm very grateful.
$13 million that this body appropriated.
The hearing lasted just as long as last week's at close to 4 hours. However, lawmakers recessed until Monday for DOA to return once again with more details of the plan. You can review DOA's proposal on our website. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.